The Columbus Police Department killed 2 unarmed Black men just this month. The men who lost their lives to senseless police brutality were Andre Maurice Hill and Casey Goodson Jr. When Casey was killed, there were no body cameras, no cell phone footage, no eyewitnesses, and no other officers to witness what really happened during the shooting. When Andre was killed, the 2 officers involved did not turn on their body cameras until after they shot Andre, and we only have footage because of an automatic feature on the body cameras. These police officers arrived at the scene for a non-emergency call, then shot Andre seconds after seeing him, walking out of his house and holding his cell phone. The officer who killed Andre has a 69-page document of citizen complaints. Additionally, the city, Columbus, paid a $45,000 settlement on the officer's behalf, who was caught on a body cam banging the driver's head into the hood 4 times during the arrest. Columbus disproportionately funds the police department. At $359,970,422, Columbus Police Department is 54 times more funded than public education, with only $6,661,910 allocated in the 2020 budget summary. So, do you support defunding the police to reallocate resources to our social safety net like education and healthcare?
That's a difficult question because it's like defunding the U.S. Army. You don't want to have, you don't want the abuse, but you don't want to give up all defense. I think if you could take the model of the Army, if things are going wrong, an officer loses his whole career. Well, they're only blaming the policeman. Who's supervising these people? And it's the same thing with the union organizing. I was told years ago that everything that happens in the workplace is the fault of management, whether it's good or bad. Well, everybody's running around. I can't blame the, I can blame the people who are guilty, but these are people who haven't been trained or haven't been supervised or aren't close enough supervised to know that they can't do that. What's wrong with it? What's wrong with the management of this people? How come they don't lose their jobs when somebody under them commits these kind of acts? So there's no control. And I would also take the police out of endorsing and voting. Even though I'm very strong to have police unions, they need due process. If they do something wrong, they should have hearing officers. You got code of military justice, and I'm not a military guy, but they don't, soldiers do bad things. They're in a whole justice system that's been organized for years. Well, there's no justice system set up for these police who do wrong, and their management and their officers. So I think there's some structural things. And I think that's a different question than the funding, because it needs, people say, well, we need more on social work. Well, why aren't the policemen say, my job isn't being social work? Well, wait a minute. Why isn't it? You're paid. And so I think people can do, you need policemen who don't think their role is to be military aggressors. And somehow they've developed a culture that needs to be changed entirely. And I think that's involves maybe the same money, but blending the services of social service, health, mental health, and doing something for the people, some of the things that I was talking about.
Do you support defunding the police to reallocate resources to our social safety net like education and healthcare?
My thing is, first and foremost, that I hate the narrative, the words defund the police. I think when you say things like cutting the budget, do I agree with changing the way dollars are spent? I absolutely agree with that. I believe that when we allocate money towards policing, that is where the focus is. Crime and in Casey Goodson and I forget the other gentleman's name, in their case, we're not talking about crime. We're talking about police officers and their accountability, because their responsibility is not to become the judge, the jury, and the executioner. And so I think our priorities have been misplaced and displaced. And we need to get our priorities straight. We need to pour more money in education. We need to pour more money in social services. So absolutely, I support shifting the way monies are spent in all municipalities across the state of Ohio. So that's as direct as I get there.
Do you support defunding the police to reallocate resources to our social safety net like education and healthcare?
That was a very long lead into the question. And yes, I support reallocating public budgets accordingly to support social services, particularly to support social workers and other forms of intervention teams, to work alongside our law enforcement officers to improve outcomes. And like that's a really clinical way of saying that we need to stop killing people. And we can't allow state-sponsored killing of citizens, unarmed especially, to continue.
Do you support defunding the police to reallocate resources to our social safety net like education and healthcare?
I do, yes. Again, I don't think that there's a big role for the ODP chair in terms of being able to accomplish those things. But personally, yes, I do. And it's work that I've been involved in as an organizer. There's challenges, right, because of the contract. But yeah, I do. And then the first one was not a Columbus police officer. It was part of the sheriff's, the county sheriff officer, which is why they don't have the mandate with the cameras, which is definitely something that should be looked into and addressed, as well as the conditions of the jail, which are horrific. So.
Do you support defunding the police to reallocate resources to our social safety net like education and healthcare?
You know, there is no question that the suffering that has occurred as the result of everything that you discussed has taken a very, very, I'm at a loss of words here. I think I'm getting emotional on it, but we're just, you know, we are long overdue in addressing these issues. And this is more, I mean, defunding is an issue, but we need to do more in figuring out how to address everything that is associated here. We have many, many deep-rooted challenges and many issues that have not been addressed. And we are finally at a point where the time has come. And so understanding how we restructure, how we put a structure in place that helps address what we are dealing with or what we are faced here, so that we are truly having transparency and accountability and understanding what the causes are, and more importantly, that we are finding solutions that respond to our community and do not leave question marks on the table.
Okay. So would you say that that is a no then to defunding police departments?
I mean, I am in support of defunding, but I just think it is not it's not a single shot. I think that
Correct.
there are numerous pieces that need to be addressed to ensure that that we are addressing the problems before us. And right now we are not. You know, they have with where our city, our counties, our state are at this point in time, is that people want answers. And so, you know, fortunately, we are here in the city of Columbus in a situation where a civilian review committee is finally in place. And, you know, I think clearly a very significant step in allowing us to move forward in allowing this transparency and accountability to occur, so that we can begin the process of implementing changes that address the challenges that we've been incurring.